Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me at tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the box below, the purchase and pricing question email line from you to me and my hand-picked crew for your questions about this or any watch you see here on Watchbox Reviews. That's tmosso@thewatchbox.com. And today we're discussing a 2016 Baselworld launch. This is the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Yacht-Master. Platinum and stainless steel. This is the 116622 with dark rhodium dial. 40 millimeters in diameter. You can see the watch is slender at 11.6 millimeters thick. Lug-to-lug, 47.3 millimeters and 50 millimeters from end link to end link across the wrist with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now when you throw this one on the wrist, it's easy to wear. It's flat, it's low, it's a wonderful blend of a Rolex sports watch with a dress sensibility. On my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, you can see there's really no issue accommodating a cuff. It's sliding under my shirt without any particular effort. It's also relatively narrow across the wrist. I have plenty of clearance on both sides, so I would say wear with confidence on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, really compact and high quality, to the point that it almost feels as hefty as a gold watch from some other brands. Solid end links, solid center links, the platinum bezel, of course important, and a fully milled clasp. You can see that the individual links polished on the center, satin finished on the shoulder, polished on their outer faces. This is the Rolex Oyster bracelet, and you can see on the underside plenty of gaps to avoid trapping wrist heat or moisture or grit, as well as to avoid pinching skin or pulling hair. Internally polished, you can tell this is a flagship Rolex model, a combination of a beak and a hook. The first latching mechanism, watch it latch, there it is, and then there is a clamshell, so it's actually a double locker. There's a little kerf in the clasp, so you can dig in your nail. You must vertically unlock. It's not a friction fit system. There are two locking mechanisms. You have the Easy Link, 5 millimeters. You can take in or take out. It's the equivalent of adding or removing one screw fixed removable link, and then there are some divots inside that you can see. These are little slotted divots with tracks leading the spring bar into these individual divots for changing the anchoring point of the bracelet. So with a strap tool, you can actually change the anchoring point and fine-tune the fit. So 3 ways to change the fit: the divots, Easy Link, removable links. The polish, the case flank is blinding and glorious. Polished lug hoods and a handsome, compound contoured, almost sexy and lithe case form. This is anything but the super case with its sheer sides and its squared off lugs that you see on the GMTs, Subs, Sea Dwellers, and the Explorer 2s. You have small crown guard profiles, and note that it is a triplock crown, while the conventional wisdom is that these are 100-meter watches, as Rolex claims. The trip lock is generally found on 300-meter or above Rolex models, so while 100 meters water resistant, because the presence of that crown, I suspect that 100 meters is a very conservative rating for this watch. The bezel, being a yachtsman's timer, is bidirectional, so it's not a dive bezel, but you can still line up the polished index with the minute hand for an impromptu 0 to 60-minute timer, which I find is easier to read and more intuitive than a chronograph without the downstream maintenance costs of a chronograph, and I find it's also an advantage because bezels give you 60 minutes of timing capacity, whereas most chronograph subregisters stop at 30. Platinum, as you can see, with polished and media blasted segments for contrast. The dial itself is a sunburst with dark rhodium. It's a lot like ruthenium. Rhodium is normally the silver plating on brass bridges of Swiss movements, but here, dark rhodium gives it that lovely anthracite tone with a silver sunburst radiating out from the center and a few cyan accents in the Yacht-Master script, as well as the counterweighted seconds hand. All white gold hands and indices, so they won't tarnish or oxidize over time. Cyclops eye magnifier underneath the case back, which is made of stainless steel. You have the Rolex caliber 3135, 31 jewels, automatic winding, bidirectional action, smooth as silk and silent as it winds. It features a 48-hour power reserve, beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. It is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer. Rolex gets the bare movement chronometer certification, cases up the watch, and in 6 positions, not the chronometer 5, tests the watch to keep time to -2 + 2 seconds per day. That is Rolex's superlative chronometer standard and compares to -4 + 6 seconds per day in order to earn the chronometer cert, so Rolex going above and beyond. You have hacking seconds or stop seconds, plus a quick set date to set the watch precisely, and then you have a free sprung balance with a full balance bridge for shock resistance, as well as an overcoil hairspring made by hand to allow it to keep excellent time and beat concentrically in any of those 6 test positions. Plus, the overcoil is made of an oxidized niobium zirconium alloy called parachrome blue in Rolex parlance that is extremely anti-magnetic. So the watch Water resistant, automatic winding, shock resistant, anti-magnetic, long-legged, and very, very accurate, with a wonderfully simple and intuitive timing organ in that platinum bezel. The combination of a dress watch and a sports watch, it's got the soul of both. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com with your purchase and pricing questions. By night, the Rolex Yacht-Master, you can see Rolex Chromolite Blue Lume.